All right, I had a look. It's the female connector that runs down to the stator. I've got 0.3, 0.4 ohms resistance across all those, so I think that's right. I think that's how it's supposed to be. That's good news. Let's have a look at the rectifier. What's up, folks? Duke back here in the moto shop. My last video, I was screwing around trying to figure out what was wrong with the chain. Ordered the wrong chain. T-dubs take 4/28. It was literally written on the sprocket in my hand. It's also stamped clearly on the old chain. Whatever. Got the wrong chain, but the right chain's on it now. It's back together and seems to be fine. Trouble is, the bike is no longer charging. So, all right. I've heard that these little wires here, people say they're super easy to pinch. I was like, I wonder if I pinched something. So I pulled it all back apart and made sure I did not pinch these wires. There's a little groove that they go into. It's pretty easy not to pinch them if you're paying attention. So the wires are not pinched, but I'm still not charging. So I'm gonna have a poke at that today and see if I can figure it out. Battery voltage, the battery was completely drained, so I thought maybe the battery wasn't drained, so I charged the battery up. It's a lithium battery, but I only have a normal charger, so I put about 12.6 volts in it. And then fire the bike up, check the voltage, still 12.6, and it slowly declines as I let the bike run with the headlight. When the battery was stone dead, I kick-started it and rode it around the yard a little bit. And the headlights weren't bright. I didn't even have enough voltage to cycle the turn signal flasher. So something definitely screwy is going on. So I'm gonna poke around, check some things, see if I can figure out the issue. Let's have a look. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is check the battery voltage since it sat overnight. Got a little clamp meter here. The battery's died in my other multimeter, but this has voltage and resistance, so it'll do what we need to do today. Huh, 2.2 volts. We had 12 something last night. That's screwy. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's dead. She's dead, friend. All right, so we have a pretty mean draw. I wonder, sometimes just a straight up dead battery, like dead cells and stuff, that'll cause some issues. So let me pull a battery from another bike, stick it in here and see what that gets us. The old KTM. It has a battery that's charged, or should be charged. Let's make sure this thing has some voltage in it. I don't know why I coiled this back up. $13 volts, that'll do. Let's stick this guy over there and see what's what. Damn rubber band. What the hell? I sure can't see the bottom of this rubber band, so I think you probably got to come at it from the side. Yep. As I get oil from the filter all over my hand. Well, that's a pain in the butt to get to. And it for sure seems like the kind of thing I'll rip if I'm not careful. Yeah. There we go. All right. Battery's free. Where's that little guy? This little fella. Let's stick this in the T-dub. What did I do with my screwdriver? There it is. Got it. This battery that I put in the T-dub came out of my XR650L. When I bought it, I had some charging issues, and I grabbed another battery that I had on the shelf, stuck it in there. Turned out it wasn't the battery, but I never put this one back in. Uh-oh, don't drop that, little guy. Almost lost my little square nut there. Oof. As he set the battery in there backwards. There we go. Black to black, red to red. Pick the right nuts. Put that little nut where it's supposed to be. There we go. Now we got some power. So let's check the voltage. I spend more time wandering around the shop looking for tools than I do using them. Which is a good thing I have a small shop here. All right, so we got 13 volts. 13 volts. Let's fire the bike up and see what we get then. Oh, sweet. Ah, you know what? I turned the fuel off because the float bowl was sticking last night, I noticed. So let's give it some fuel. So it's 12.5 and climbing. I think the charging system on these, like best case scenario, puts out like 12.8. And then at higher RPM, like 13 something. Let's just let it run a while and come back and see what we get. So yesterday, while it warms up, I noticed that the float bowl was sticking, and I took my little brass hammer and gave it a couple taps, cleared it up. But the fuel tank was pretty clean. There's still some trash in there somewhere. Maybe it was in the lines or something. All right, here's my little carburetor. See that? I don't know if you can hear me. See that smuts in that line right there? So some of that must have made its way into the float bowl and was keeping that little needle from closing. You know, whatever. I'm just going to just got to remember to cut the fuel off. When I park the bike for a while, maybe take the bowl off at some point. Clean it out, I don't know. But step first is I need to make sure it's charging. So let's see. All right, so we've been running a couple minutes. 12.54, 12.55. Seems to be dropping a little. Turn the bike off. 12.86, so we're discharging the battery a little. Problem is, lithium batteries, they'll run at like, 13 volts. They'll hold higher voltage, and if the bike's only putting out 12.6 or so, which I think is normal, then there's a good chance that everything's working like it should. I wish I had a lead acid battery to stick in here that was at like 12 volts. Let's go see what's in the 10 array. I've got a new lithium battery I can stick in the 10 array, and maybe just run lead acid in this. Let's go see. Will it run with a battery not even installed? Look at a wiring diagram and figure it out, or I'll just do this. Yeah, hey, look at that. So no headlight at all. I don't know if that's normal. I assume so. For giggles. Yeah, no bolts, which I guess isn't surprising. But actually, before I go poking at the ten array, let's check some things on here. A clue. So that's some corrosion. Seems to be emanating from this guy, which I think is the stator connection. Look at there. Let's clean this up. Have a poke, see what happens. Let's see. Oh. Y'all are on a stand. Look at that. Whoop. Yeah, that's probably not great. That could be part of our issue. How do I get this apart? There we are. Let's get a little screwdriver. Or better yet, a little pick. So I reckon it's probably important where these go. So let's make ourselves, get a Sharpie and make a little legend. So I'm gonna just do dots or lines. We'll make black this guy. And we'll make gold. Let's do this guy gold. And I'll probably rub those right off. Actually, I reckon it probably doesn't matter, but better safe than sorry. It's the hazards of only halfway knowing what you're doing. Okay, there's one. There's two. There's three. Now it should come out. So there we are. Got our little wires all ready to be cleaned up. Little brass brush, and some dielectric grease. Now here's our prime offender. I wonder if I have electric cleaner. The trouble with corrosion is the corrosion will, if left unchecked, it'll run into the wire and corrode the wire behind the insulation. So it can look clean as a whistle. Uh-oh, shit, don't break that. It can look clean as a whistle, but in reality, corrosion is run up in the wire and you'll never get it clean. So I'm just gonna be careful. I don't like how that little guy is bending. So just take my time. Brush it up. I could have just taken my meter and checked on both sides of the pin, you know, if it was getting some contact, but that doesn't really tell you. Once you send voltage through it, you might have, you know, it might ohm out good. Ohm out meaning check the resistance. It might be a lot of resistance, but when you send voltage through it, things change. Man, that little connector is in bad shape from the mechanical perspective. Like it's bent up, or it's where I just bent it, it's about broken. So definitely want to replace that before I go on some big ride. Let's see, the other side looks okay, but I know it can't be on account of, trouble is I don't have a way to get inside of that female terminal to clean it. So let's put it back together. Da-da-da, which one was black? This one's black. And we want our little pin facing that way. Which one was gold? That's our corroded one. Which is funny, because if it was gold, it corroded. Yeah, that's nice. Throw it on the ground. Like an old Lonely Island song. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get some pliers so I can make sure they clip in good. Click. Click, I think. Yep, click. And then, so give them all a tug, make sure they're in there. Actually, I can see the little teeth. Okay. We'll squirt some on the back side if this works. It'd be awfully sweet if it does. I got low confidence right now that that did anything. Except let me know that I need to replace that little terminal. Let's stick that same battery back in. And the screws. Click. Uh-oh, a little nut flipped over. There we go. it's alive. It's running. .57, 12.56. No change. All right. Let's do some resistance checks. Which side runs to where? .27 ohms ish. So I got 27 ohms between 28 ohms between two of these, and everything else is open. Let me look up what it's supposed to be. I think that's not good. All right, I had a look. It's the female connector that runs down to the stator. I've got 0.3, 0.4 ohms resistance across all those, so I think that's right. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Let's see what it's doing with the bike running. So I got my little meter set here to AC. Battery's good enough. Charge it up. So with the bike idling, horrible. I'd expect more than that. 8 volts. 5 volts. So we got 6 volts. All right, so that's 33. About 33. About 30. I would have expected more. Do I have a bad ground somewhere? Possibly. Let's do some ground checking. So the regulator body's good to go. Where else to check? Battery to chassis is good to go. And I think the pink wire on the regulator should be 0. Not that that really matters right now. Zero. That's good. Key off. Let's just have a look at this connector. I'm reasonably confident the regulator's bad, but I expected more out of the stator. Plugs look pretty okay. Yeah, I think the stator or I think the regulator's hoop. Let me look up and see what we're supposed to have from the stator. A manual would be cool, but I think our problem is the regulator, which is like a $20 part. So yeah, can't be too mad about that on a cheap bike like this. All right, so as is often the case when I screw around with electrical stuff, I don't really know what's going on, but a new regulator's 20 bucks. So I'm gonna get one of those, stick it on there to see if anything changes. Either the problem goes away, that'd be sweet, or nothing changes and then we know it's the stator. The stator ohms out good. Just the voltage that I was reading with the bike running, the AC voltage coming off of each leg of the stator is lower than I thought. Thought it should be. I don't know. I don't have a manual to actually read what it's supposed to be. Maybe I'll go look some when I get in the house. I don't have internet out here. So yeah, I'll order a regulator, stick it on there. If it makes it better, cool. If not, I have a spare and more clues. So the TW saga continues. See y'all.